Thank you very much. So Marco was telling you about all these amazing initiatives we're doing at the agency, but he was also telling you how much those initiatives are possible because we have this great partnership with our clients. So what happens when it's a new client that just crossed the door and wants for us to do a traditional campaign? So this happened for us with Solar Impulse Foundation. In the beginning of 2022, Bertrand Piccard, who is the founder, an adventurer, and also an ecological activist, come to us because he had created this book called A Pragmatic Way to Ecology. You see, Bertrand thinks that actually what is happening with world warming and the reason why we are not moving forward is because this is a pragmatical, rational problem that needs pragmatical, rational solutions and is getting diluted by passions, by inactions, by debate. So what he did is that he went all around the world looking for the most interesting innovations ready to be actionable by somebody somewhere, and he compiled all of them, plus some of initiatives of his own in that book, and he just wanted for us to make a communication campaign for the French public to get aware of it, and for people to get aware that there were initiatives that were ready to be taken into action. So he wanted a print campaign to promote his book. But when we were talking with him, this was such an incredible, passionate project at the end, and he was done this, humongous work. We decided that just doing a communication campaign were not making tribute to his work. The opportunity was that some months after he came visiting us, there was the equivalent of the Senate elections. French people were voting for the lawmakers of the next 5 years. And we got this absolutely crazy idea. And it was to turn the most accurate for France of the initiatives out of Bertrand books into law projects ready to be voted in the French Parliament by these new lawmakers. So we worked relentlessly with jurists, with lawyers, and with lobbyists to be sure that we took the best initiatives for France, and we make this Pret à voter a tool with 50 law projects, bills, ready to be presented in Parliament and voted. After this initiative, 3 new pro-ecological laws were promoted already in France, and there are 8 in the making. And that gave us an extremely pride, and of course, make tribute and put the real idea of Bertrand with his book, that was make action happen, to start happening in France. But once we did that, the problem is we live in a tiny country, and the global warming is a global problem. So we spent weeks thinking on how to get that scalable. Because of course, you imagine the effort we did. If we do it in every single country in the world, we need so many benevols and activists that it becomes extremely difficult for us to manage that. So what we did for this year, and what we are launching in this moment, is an initiative using technology to escalate the Pret à voter project, the ready-to-vote project, so it is accessible to ONGs, activists, political forces all around the world, and this is what we are doing this year.
Welcome to the opening ceremony of COP10.
We can't wait for the next COP. It has to be now.
The Solar Impulse Foundation has more than 1,000 innovative solutions against climate change. Unfortunately, they are blocked by political inaction.
In 2023, with the help of lawyers and jurists, we created Ready to Vote, a unique book that transformed 50 ecological innovations against climate change into 50 draft laws ready to be voted on.
In just a few months, 3 laws were adopted in France, and more are in discussion. But political inaction is a global problem, and we need a global wake-up.
So what if an innovative tool could replicate this process globally and simultaneously?
AI Impulse, an open source tool to lobby against climate change. Available free of charge for NGOs, politicians, and citizens to draft law proposals and submit them to the parliament of their country. This AI is fed with our Foundation's Ecological Innovation Database and legislation from the countries with the most urgent climate action needs. Once local issues have been identified, AI Impulse can find the most innovative solutions to address them. Thanks to this process, the Solar Impulse Foundation has already begun drafting law proposals adapted to the legislations of 24 countries.
It's obviously a huge quantum leap forward in terms of potential for impact of policy.
And this kind of tools can help then to act quickly. When it's done, it's done.
AI Impulse. When the climate changes, so must the law.
So see, we really believe that creative minds are the most interesting minds to change the world. Because we look for shortcuts. We look for ways of making things simpler when they seem absolutely impossible to overcome. So every time that you have a problem, a brief, something in front of you, what is super interesting is to think how our role in the world can be transformative, how we can turn a creative idea into something that generates real change. Thank you very much.